So, hello and welcome. Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to our Women's Informal Network seminar, or actually it's going to be a kickoff event for our new coaching program. And my name is Maria Magdalena Heinrich, and I am one of the coordinators of the Women's Informal Network. And I have been coordinating a mentoring program so far, which has been running now for the past 4 years. And basically my role was to connect a mentee and a mentor, and very beautiful stories came out of that program. And now I figured that there was a lot of requests for coaches also. So a bit more specific help for our WIN members in terms of getting unstuck when they feel stuck, or understanding what direction to take, or maybe to shift careers, or some quite big things, no? And so throughout these years, we've had very nice experiences with some of you as coaches that we have today here. And in talking to Annika, who is a WIN member from a very long time and a trained coach, we were discussing the opportunity to help each other and to have a coaching program. And so slowly this came together, and today we are here to launch it. And I have so far in our pool 9 different coaches. In the invitation that I sent out, in the Outlook calendar invitation, you have all the short biographies of our coaches, as well as the one-page Word form that is a sort of standard form to make sure that all the relevant information is there about our coaches. And so the idea is that I will not be involved in matchmaking. People will be able to read through the biographies and have a look at the forms and see who appeals to them, whom they feel connected to because of interest or background or whatever. And we agreed with the coaches that they would be available for a first getting to know session, where the interested people can get to know the coach, discuss the program, their needs, and see if there is a good fit. And so because we have different coaches with different amount of experience and type of interests or experiences, of course, also prices are very different, and the offerings are very different. And so that is also something that, of course, would have to be discussed individually with the coach. Okay, so Chitra and we will be completely out of this management, let's say. What we are offering is a sort of pool of certified people, coaches. They are all certified and they all abide to the international standards of coaching, which means, that they will keep any information that you're sharing with them confidential, and that they are approaching the coaching in a very professional manner. Okay. That said, I think we can start with a brief intro by our coach and friend Sylvia Becker-Hill. She will speak to us about the differences between mother, sister, friend, coach, mentor, guru, and whatever there is out there, so that we can set the scene and understand what is coaching actually really about. And then we will hear in very short, quick presentations from each coach what they have to offer. And then we will have an opportunity for all of you to ask any questions to our coaches. And then we will have a final sort of networking part where we will break out into groups and have a discussion in smaller teams about coaching, any experience you've had or curiosities you may have. And so you will have an opportunity to either share your experience or also ask any more questions. And with this, I have the pleasure to hand over to Sylvia, please. Over to you.
Thank you, my dear. I'm so happy for all of us that we are living at a time where there are lots of wonderful professionals out there in the field of change management, which means helping us to grow and change. But it's the same if when you are sick and you're considering with which doctor shall I make an appointment, there's a huge difference if you make an appointment with your cardiologist or gynecologist or optometrist. So it's important to understand the differences of all these trained professionals. So I have prepared a tongue-in-cheek test, a quiz, so no worries, it's humorous. Please have first a piece of paper and pen at hand, and then the result, when I give you the options, you first figure it out on a piece of paper, and then you will share it in the chat. Sadly, you can't win any chocolate right now here online, but be committed to do your best. And Marilena, I'm testing now if I can share my screen. Let's see if this works, or if you have to give me permission. It looks like it does work. Okay, I'm sharing now my screen, and you see a simple whiteness, just blank, correct? So
yes,
let me
that's
see.
correct.
Can you all see now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What is coaching? Can you see that as a front in
Yes.
orange?
Yes.
Perfect. So what is coaching? And to make it tangible, I thought I'd choose a classical topic with which maybe one of you are struggling or could come to a coach, which is I'm getting bullied at work, which is a classic problem of professional women. So imagine you or someone you know has that issue, and that woman, that person, man or woman, would like to have help with that. So now we have the different potential support figures. These are the different ones, which I will not first explain because we don't have the time here, but I will give you in a moment different answers from these different types. So we have the coach, which we have here in this network, several, and there are wonderful therapists out there in the world, consultants, or mentors, or teachers, and I hope you all have some girlfriends. Just for time reasons, I left the boyfriends out here, the male friends, and please, tongue in cheek, I don't want to go into gender discussions here. We are diverse and inclusive. It's tongue in cheek, it's humorous. And then we have trainers and we have priests with which I mean all sorts of religious, spiritual advisors. And just for time and space reasons, I left mother, father, the good aunt and the good uncle, I left them all out. So just what you need to quickly write down is coach is A, therapist is B, so that you have the different letters, who is who, so that you now with numbers can connect which answer of the following I will give you or show you here on the screen, you can connect to which of these figures. So show me with thumbs up if you are clear, you have coach, you can make it C, A, T for therapist, B, so that you have on a piece of paper all the different professional and private support figures with the letters. Marilena, you see the screen better. Can I go to the next slide and show the answers? Not
Yes,
the answer to the quiz.
Maybe let's just leave 1 more minute for everyone to
Yeah.
write down the list.
And all these people are wonderful and important. There is zero judgment I'm making here that one role is better or more important than the other. The key for me as a professional coach and coach trainer is to differentiate, because with the problem of getting bullied, you could go to all of them, and you will see in my answers, I go always to all my supporters, and you will get different answers. And this is the point here I want to make, so that you get a feel. So when I will show you the next slide where the answers from all these different people are coming, that you don't use mainly your mind, that you rather use your heart and your gut to feel into the answer, because I believe that feeling the distinctions is much easier than distinguishing them with our mind, because there are overlaps. In all these roles, there are overlaps, and there are even schools of thoughts or coaching schools out there who are fighting with each other, who has the right definition and who not, etc. We don't do that. We just follow our intuition. So I'm moving now up my slides here. These are now the answers, and they have numbers, and I read them out loud. And you, while I read them, and I would also play them a bit so that you get a feel, you write the number to the according letter of the role. My team analyzed the situation, and here's our 362-page long report with strategic suggestions how to respond. When we forgive our enemies, peace of mind is the reward. Follow my body stance example, breathe deeply, and now say, number 4, don't take it personally. I brought you chocolate and my Pretty Woman DVD. In what way does this situation mirror how you felt as a child? Research has shown that the most effective way to answer bullies is to imagine you would wake up one morning and the problem would be gone. What would be different? How would you have accomplished that? In my career, when I was in your position, the exact same thing happened to me. This is how I dealt with it. Please give a thumb up when you are clear. And then you put your row of connections, your letters and number combinations. Please put them in the chat box before I show you the result, the correct one. And then we can all see, how many of you figured out. And I mean, obviously there are sometimes, as I said, things where they are overlapping. And I did my best I could to point out towards the essence. Every role, there is an essence regarding the relationship, how these wonderful support people, how they are relating to us, how we relate to them. And there is also an expectation, what we expect to get them. And I did my best. This is here not from any book. This is self-made. This is my creativity. And sadly here on my iPad, I see only you, Marilena. I can't see all the others while I'm sharing my screen. So please, everyone, you put it in the chat box. And Marilena, you tell me when you see, okay, there are as many answers as people in the group. And then I show the final result.
Yeah, we have the first eager ones who are sharing. And so they are sharing the whole set.
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Yeah. And we do have differences, although I can see that A7 is sort of consistent.
Yeah, because I think my slide might have
it
shown
went up
it
a little bit. We were able to sneak at have a peek view of it. But
yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm used to big iMac desktop screen at home, and I'm traveling the first time with my new iPad. And
I think there is consensus more or less on B5 as well. C1. Yeah, most have C1, D8, E6, F4, G3, H2. More or less.
Okay, everyone shared so that we can see the next one.
Not everyone, but I think we can move on.
Okay, time-wise, we have to move forward. Even if you didn't share it, you can check in and compare it with your own notes. So the coach, yes, the coach is the one who asked the famous, I made it slightly a variation, but the first question I used as a coach is a famous one. It's the so-called miracle question. Then when overnight a miracle happens, what would you do? It's quite historically famous. And the coach asked questions, what would you have done to accomplish that, to empower you, to get you into your power? And all the others have all their unique ones. Obviously, Pretty Woman DVD and chocolate, that's our girlfriend. And I love that. I love to eat chocolate and watch a DVD when I'm frustrated with a problem. It's so wonderful that we have our girlfriends. So, and again, celebrate yourself. If you got all of them right, A7, B5, C1, D8, E6, F4, G3, H2. If you got them correct, celebrate it. Write yay in the chat box, make a celebration hour, emoticon. And if you have a real insight, because I told you, don't overthink it, don't analyze it, feel for the difference. Sometimes these funny quiz can give us an insight. Is there any insight about any of these roles? If you have an insight you would like to share, please do so too into the chat box. And I have to finish here time-wise. Now I hope I'm not too fast. If you want to connect with me, you find me under Sylvia Becker-Hill on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm not any longer on Twitter with the recent leadership change there and culture change. I left Twitter for good, but on all the other ones you can find me. And if you want to have a free, a bit more serious and deeper self-assessment where you are in your personal evolution, you can use the link below that, beckerhill.com compass. And that was it from my side. And I will now stop sharing. Oops, where is here the button to do that? Can you stop me sharing? Where is it? Let's see if I find it. Yes, now I have it. Stop sharing. Okay, it's gone. Yay.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Sylvia. I think it was a very interesting exercise to do, actually, and to reflect on the differences of who would say what to us. Any insight from someone, one or two people maybe speak up to say what this exercise gave you or made you think about? Very quickly, is there anyone who would like to share? Going through these notes and bubbles, speaking bubbles? No. Okay, so then I won't take more time, and I would like to start in alphabetical order with our second coach, Annika Holterhoff. Annika, as I was saying, she is part of the reason why we are here, because we were discussing together when we were in Vienna and then in Rome of coaching and how important that is. So Annika will introduce herself and tell us all about herself and why we should pick her as a coach, basically. Over to you, Annika.
Thanks, Marilena. Thanks, everyone, for being here. So many of you. We don't have much time, so I try to be fast. I hope I won't be too fast. Stop me when I go over the time. As Marina said, I'm Annika. I'm a German international lawyer and a certified leadership coach. I've worked in the UN system for over 10 years as an intern, as a JPO, and as a staff member. And since 2012, I'm with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Vienna, where I work on equal access to justice for all with the focus on fair trial rights and countering discrimination. You've perhaps seen the little bio that Marilena sent around. Myself, I've been a coachee twice. The second time I started just before the first lockdowns in March 2020, and I found that was a really work-life changing experience. So I was all for it. And at the same time, I joined the Together Mentoring, the program that the UN has. And I really enjoy providing advice. I've had a lot of mentees there. But what I enjoyed even more was discussing with them. What are their problems? What have they tried? What have they not tried? And then I thought, okay, this is coaching that does that. So early last year, I did a course under the ICF standards, and that was in a cohort of UN colleagues where we were basically taught to be coachees in the UN work environment. And that was done by UNOF ODC, where we have a program that is free of charge for all the employees to use, irrespective of what contract type they have. As I said, I'm really compassionate and I am passionate about countering inequality and discrimination in work and life, as well as underestimating people and harassment. And my approach reflects this very much. I like to support others in helping themselves. And you've probably seen that quote that I put, this coaching gets you from where you are to where you want to be. Which I think is really true, because you look in coaching at your values, at your priorities, dreams, wishes you may have that you think can never come true, and you try to find out what it is that you want and the options you have to get there and where you can start. My coachees have, for instance, solved interpersonal issues they had with colleagues and supervisors, tackled procrastination, or they finished big projects. And I think rather than mentoring, as we said before, where you would like to talk to someone who is your senior in age, in rank, you want to learn and get examples. But career coaching is a bit different. You need to talk to someone you have a good rapport with, someone you trust, who helps you find the questions you need to ask yourself and the answers, instead of giving their own views and their own ideas that may block actually what you can come up with creatively. And you have the chance to confidentially speak to someone that is not your friend, not your family, not your colleague, and not your boss. So it can be very short, because sometimes you find when you talk to a coach that you already have all the answers. You've solved your issue already, but you weren't aware because you haven't talked to someone about it that looks at things really objectively. And sometimes it takes a while. You may need tools, you may need to do exercises, but it's a journey, and you learn a lot about yourself, and not only for work life, but also for life. And I'm still building my portfolio. I've been coaching for 1 year now, but I'm still doing advanced trainings. I do a lot of coaching myself just to know what it's like to be vulnerable. And I'm happy to work with clients pro bono. I can offer remote calls, but I can also meet people in Vienna and sometimes in Rome, because my husband works at IFAD, so I'm there quite a lot. I think this is a great program that Marilena is setting up. So happy to be here, and thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Annika, for kicking off this idea and being part of our pool of coaches. I think your intro was really very good and sharp. And I think that you can be an example for our colleagues who may be interested in pursuing a sort of parallel career, coaching career while they are working, because you are showing us that it is possible, and that may also be of inspiration to some of our colleagues. So thank you very much. Tony, in German we say Han im Korb, the only man in our call here. Tony Glaser, he's a former senior advisor and gender focal point. He was working in the FAO Investment Center. And I got to know Tony at the end of last year, more or less, towards the end of last year, unfortunately, just before he left FAO. But I'm very happy that he is in this pool of coaches. And so, Tony, over to you to introduce yourself to our Women's Informal Network members.
Yeah, thank you, Marilena. Yes, I'm honored to be the only male coach here. Makes me happy, but it's of course also a challenge in the framework of the Women International Network. And thanks to Marilena and Nuha and her team to accept me here in this group. So yes, I'm from Austria originally. But a kind of a global citizen also, because I have lived and worked and traveled for around 20 years in 3 continents before I moved finally to Rome to serve another 8 years for FAO. And I say served because I quit my job at the FAO Investment Center by the end of December last year. So in order to focus on my coaching career, and I'm very happy about this. So the advantage of this is that I can bring to you working in the national for many different organizations, and the last 10 years headquarters. So it gives me a certain understanding also concerning UN colleagues. But in my capacity during these many years, I was also able to kind of have a mixture of mentoring, giving advice, but also coaching to government officials, and also from development partners like World Bank and IFAD when we did missions together. And of course, UN colleagues, project managers of age and of any gender. Actually, what drives me to work with people across the globe, I would say. What can I offer to you? Let me start here actually with a quote from Kofi Annan, one of our former bosses, so to say. He once said, "To live is to choose. But to choose well, you must know who you are and what you stand for, where you want to go and why you want to get there. So it's a brilliant remark. It struck me and it kind of encouraged me also to become a coach. So I trained as a coach in the London Coaching Academy. And when I read this quote, just to explain it shortly to you, because there's also something missing. So who you are is obviously prompts us to take stock of what person we are, what we do, how we interact with people. It concerns also our belief systems, may it be positive or negative, to which we currently subscribe to. The what do you stand for? I think that's a deep dive into our values. It requires actually listening to our inner voice of our conscience, I would say, our soul, which is kind of an organ to know what is meaningful and what not. So where you want to go, obviously, is a challenge for us to honestly assess if we have a goal worth pursuing in our life. The why you want to get there is kind of, you really check where you want to go. Is this still in alignment with your inner values? And then there was something missing by Kofi Annan, and that's how you get there. And I think that's actually where the coaches also come in, because if you don't know how to get there, your progress might be jeopardized. For the sake of time, I also want to share with you that some people think coaching is something big, and you see all these words, these like executive coaching. It's about big things, big decisions. I think it's not actually completely true, but it's often about the small things, which we repeat every day. And if we get those small things right, if we manage to align, our small habits to our bigger dreams, surely it will become reality. So please feel free to connect with me also on LinkedIn under Anton Glaser, where I also regularly publish blogs in the same direction I was. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening and having me in the team. Over to you, Marilena.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much for introducing yourself, your background. And I very much like this idea of the alignment of the small habits to our bigger dreams. And that actually allows me to flow very nicely to the next coach. Our next coach is Kate Jones, and Kate lives, and she's from London. She is a singer, songwriter, poet, writer, and painter, multi-talented person. And what does it have to do with dreams, right? So Kate is the reason why we have the book called You Matter, How Women Reclaiming Their Power Are Changing the World. And Celia, thank you very much for showing it. Basically, Kate was the coach who facilitated our dreaming session for the Women's Informal Network. And during that session, we were dreaming each one for ourselves, and Kate was facilitating that. And then as a result, we realized, there is a lot of people who want to write. And then Sylvia and we put together the project for the creation of the book. So this just as a side note. Kate, over to you for your introduction of why people should be choosing you as a coach.
Thank you, Marilena. What a lovely introduction. Hello, everybody. It's very lovely to see you. Some of you I've met before through the dreaming sessions. So my name's Kate Jones. I am London-based, as Marilena says. I'm the founder and director of Neon, my coaching business that I have been running for 10 years this month, in fact. Amazing. And typically I work with women, usually in the 35 to 45-year-old age range, who are experiencing what I call some kind of midlife or mid-career malaise, and wanting to create a new beginning of some kind, be it in their personal life or in their professional life. A little bit about me. I've made created three new beginnings in my career so far, because I spent the first 10 years of my career as a social worker and working with offenders in the UK criminal justice system. I then changed and moved into management consulting and spent 10 years working for PA Consulting Group as a management consultant. I then changed, resigned, and set up my own business and have been delivering coaching, facilitation, and leadership development to clients over the last 10 years. So I know what it takes to change direction. I totally take Tony's point about small things, and I'm really interested in working with people who want to make big changes in their lives or their careers. Second thing about me is I have managed through hard work to create a life and a career that I genuinely love, and that gives me a lot of stimulation and joy and fulfillment and adventure. And Mary Oliver, a favorite poet of mine, talks about, what are we going to do with this one wild and precious life? And I wish for everybody to have an opportunity to genuinely explore and answer that question. And the third thing I want to say about me is that I'm often described as a strong, bold, independent woman, but I'm also somebody with a deeply human heart and soul, a creative heart and soul. So I do all those creative things that I'll say more about in a moment. But in many ways, I don't feel like I fit the conventional model of what it means to be a woman. I'm not a mother, and I'm not a wife. And sometimes it feels as though that's quite difficult. So I tread my own path. And sometimes it's not easy, but I really believe that it is worth it. And another big wish of mine is that all women get to choose their particular version of what it means to be a woman, and to bring that rather than some version that other people are defining for them. So then finally, I have three objects that I want to share with you that kind of represent something about passions of mine, the way I work, and what working with me is like, maybe. So the first is this, and if you can see this kind of, for me, very beautiful kind of statue of a woman infused with one of my favorite colors. I love color, turquoise color. But you'll also notice that she is sadly without legs, without a head, and without arms. So for me, this symbolizes this passion of mine about working with women to enable them to bring all of who they are to the table, be it in their lives, be it in their communities, be it in their careers and their working lives. So that's the first thing. The second object that I have is this little key to represent new beginnings, which is what I am most passionate about in terms of working with my clients. It might be that you have a dream, as Marilena mentioned, a dream or a project that you, like writing a book or whatever it might be, that you have been putting off or never got around to, or don't feel that you have the courage to kind of start. It could be that you want a different job, or you want a change of career. It could be that you want actually a radically different way of life. You're at a particular stage in life where you're ready for something different and you're wanting to paint a new chapter in your life. These are the kinds of things that I love to work with women on. And finally, last but not least, I have a big jar of fuchsia pink paint. For me, coaching is a creative partnership. It's about bringing something new into being, number one. Secondly, I use quite a lot of creative methods in my work. And no, it does not mean that you have to be talented at anything artistic. But it's I have a strong belief and a strong passion around creativity as a tool for personal expression and personal development and change. So I would love to work with you. I would love to have a chat. As Marilena says at the beginning, there's a free, no strings attached. Get in touch with me, set up what we call a chemistry call. We can have a chat on Zoom and see if we fit, and you can ask me any questions, and it would be lovely to hear from you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you for being so creative and colorful. And I think the creativity is something that is a sort of common thread along various coaches we have here. I see Sylvia and Celia nodding because you're also painting and using the creativity in your coaching methods. And so that is absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much, Kate. And we will be moving on now to our next coach for her to introduce herself, Marianne Gläser. As you can see from the surname, yes, Marianne is Tony's wife. And yes, they are together, I think, 30 years or more, like
35.
a lifetime. 35.
36.
36. Wow. So probably they have something to tell about how to manage that. And so, Marianne, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Marilena. First of all, a really big thank you for doing this, to get us together and create something that really hopefully many people can profit from. There was a lot I could relate to, Kate, when you talked about your clientele, for instance, and changes, starting anew. I was working as a teacher originally, studied education for music and movement, worked as a teacher for 17 years. Then I did a master's in counseling. Then I was working as a counselor for another 7 years. I then did my coaching training, and I'm a coach since 9 years, just working on my PCC certificate. So I'm also a mother of 3, and as you know, I'm married to Anton Gläser since 36 years nearly. I think what my clients particularly like is my background in counseling. And I have really worked with all levels of society on 3 different continents. And I think this is really what gives me a quite wide range of understanding for differences, for really, I was working with the kids in the slums in Nairobi. I was working in Asia with the victims of sex trafficking, ex-prostitutes. I always worked in my private practice. I worked in schools, and now I'm working only online, because with all this changing and moving, this turned out to be the best way to do it. I am also, since September last year, I'm also an author. I've written my first book, an autobiographical novel that was published in September, which is still very exciting. Anatomy of a Miracle. It's only available in German, Anatomie eines Wunders so far. Hopefully it will be translated sometime. About my experience as a counselor for refugees in Nairobi. Why have I changed from counseling to coaching? Well, that has a very practical reason. One, because I came back from from Asia to Austria, and Austria has very strict rules when it comes to counseling, and there were only certain institutes that are acknowledged, and I would have had to redo so many courses that I just refused. I didn't want to. So doing my coaching training instead was the next thing that came to my mind. And meanwhile, I'm very, very happy that I did that, because of the following reason. I realized that I much prefer working with people's present situation, aiming towards the future, than going back into their troubled past. It's like, and getting them into the present, which was very often the work I had to do as a counselor. So I'm working mainly with people around midlife also, often very successful people that are at the peak of their careers, and they get hit by the big question. What is it I'm doing here? I mean, this question can really shake us to the core. What was that all? How can I find meaning in my life? I mean, this is the classic midlife question. And I also found, I mean, it's now interesting, having worked for so long, I realized that it is particularly a certain type of person that seems to be attracted to me, and is usually quite intelligent, I'm happy to say, quite intelligent, successful, sensitive, and very often highly sensitive people that come and work with me. Creative people, the black sheep, the misfits. And I just love working with these people, where they are usually so full of potential, and it's these limiting beliefs that hold them back, and it sometimes takes just so little, and they start blossoming. It's just a big, it's really very joyful for me to be able to witness that. So I don't want to talk too much, sorry. If I can trust my clients' feedback, my approach seems to work. Live what really matters. That's my coaching slogan. Yeah. So if you're interested, watch my website and get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marianne. Really very inspiring. Live what really matters, and to find out what is it that matters to me, right? That is the critical question, and especially going through different milestones in life, we are probably facing that question at different points in life, and so probably if we ask ourselves that question at a certain point, the answer will be different from the later moment or a previous moment. So thank you very much for your introduction. Now I would like to move on to Shanta Naimi. I hope I said your name correctly, Shanta.
Yes,
And
you did.
Shanta is also a new connection since last year. And Shanta is actually going to be the coach who will kick off our series of events, as I pre-announced in the calendar invitation for today. Today, we're basically launching this program and presenting our coaches. And then we will have approximately once per month, each one of these coaches give us a sort of group coaching event where we will be discussing different topics, and the coaches will be leading those sessions. And the first one will be Shanta, and we have identified as a possible date the 23rd of February. So please save the date. And the idea is that, you will get to know our coaches better, and they will offer us the opportunity to explore or dream or be creative or, whatever, different types of topics. So if you're particularly interested in addressing a topic, let me know, because then we can, of course, also tailor these sessions according to your interests. And now over to Shanta. Shanta, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to be here with you all today and to connect with this wonderful global community of women. So my name is Shanta. I'm a career and business coach. And my journey into coaching has a lot to do with my personal journey. So after many years of working in the private sector, in government, and most recently the United Nations agencies, WFP and IFAD, I discovered my love for coaching. And at the same time, after living in so many different countries throughout the world, I was at a point in my life where my priorities had shifted, and I was longing for more stability, desiring to settle down and start a family, and creating flexibility and more work-life balance. And navigating this process of finding the right balance as a woman who was ambitious, professionally longing to be successful, while also having time for my personal life. And for me, that was being a present and nurturing mom. That is something that I'm really passionate about helping women achieve. And, as Kate mentioned, that process is so unique and different for every woman. So finding what that right balance looks like. I've had the privilege to support professional women and working moms go from feeling very lost career-wise, stuck and overwhelmed, to getting crystal clear and feeling very empowered to create courageous action. and manifest those careers and lives that they want. And, you know, this is something that really resonates for me because I was also at that point at some stage in my life. And in my coaching practice, I also bring my experience having worked in HR, recruiting, and business development. In terms of my background, I trained with CTI, which is one of the leading coaching institutions in the world, and also have a business degree in organizational psychology and change management, and an executive master's in innovation and entrepreneurship. So I've helped women from all over the world to successfully make career transitions that they really love, land their dream jobs, you know, get the salary increases that they deserve, and start their own businesses. So also, having grown up in developing countries such as Brazil, South Africa, and Angola, I'm really passionate about the international development sector. And so that's something very close to my heart. And that's why I'm eager to serve women in this sector through my coaching work. So I really look forward to connecting with you all and supporting you in your personal and professional journeys. So feel free to reach out to me. You can add me on LinkedIn, Shanta Naimi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shanta, for introducing yourself. And I think finding the right balance is the key word here, right? And especially when we hear people saying that we have to think about the work-life balance and all the balance that we have to find in our lives. That's not easy, but great to know that you're there to support. Okay, so we were supposed to also have, and Sylvia, you drew something.
Yes, I'm here.
A to B, with the horses and the carriage. Beautiful.
Yeah, just to say goodbye, the Kotsche, the old Kotsche, which led to coach. But the illusion is here, the coach is working hard and the travelers are cozy and just sitting. The real modern coaching is the opposite way. In the real modern coaching, you, the coach client, is doing the work. You are the horses, you are here the leader, you are everything. Bye, everyone.
You are in the driving seat. Thank you so much for joining us, Sylvia. It was really a pleasure to have you here with us.
My honor.
And we hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We were also supposed to have Sheila with us as next one, Sheila O'Brien. Unfortunately, she had to leave the call because of a family emergency. So we hope that she can connect later, but probably not. Anyway, you have the form of Sheila and her short biography in the invitation. In case you're interested, you can have a look at that. And now we're moving to my blue ink sister, actually, Celia Fleury from Switzerland. She's also one of those creative ones. I guess the painting behind you made, right? Yes. Okay, so you will tell us more about yourself. Celia, over to you.
So first of all, and that's already an introduction on how I coach, I want you all to stand up. Because we're sitting, my butt is hurting. I don't know how you are. For us Europeans, it's late in the evening, so you're gonna see my belly. No one cares. So just shake it up. All that you've heard, it's all good, but you have to shake it up. Go with your hands. Get some energy in your hands. Some energy in your hands. Put them on your body. Be loving to yourself. The most important, hug yourself. You should do that every morning. And welcome to Celia's coaching. Maybe that was also my ADHD kicking in to move. I cannot sit for more than an hour and then I have to move the body around in the room. So, hi, I'm Celia from Switzerland, grew up in Switzerland, and I do it a little bit different with my introduction. I just give you 10 facts about me so you get to know me as a person. You already saw I work with body. I work with body, mind, and soul because as Sylvia also said, you have to feel the change. You have to feel your emotion to really engage with your transition, because coaching, it doesn't have to be big, as Tony said. It doesn't have to be big. It can be tiny little steps. Well, it is actually tiny little steps to go forward. The big steps, you go for your vision because you need to know where you're going to, but it's tiny little steps, and you have to feel every step to really have a sustainable change for your life. And that's how I coach. My history, I started the traditional way, went into accounting. I'm still working as an accountant, so I do know how it is to work 2 or at the moment like 3 or 4 jobs, it feels like. I do know what it means to be a sidepreneur, and I actually love to still be working for a company, because this way I know how it feels for today's employees to be within the industry, to work for a company and not just for myself. I love to have this both faces, not just those both perspectives on. Then when I entered, well, the usual normal career path that everyone did in my age, so 46, you earn money, then you do this, and then you become a leader, you become a top leader. And then came the point on, okay, what's next? So what Kate has said, what Marianne has said, that point came with me too. It came also with a burnout. So my body told me, this is not your job. This is not where you belong. And I didn't listen for a long time, that my body was actually rebelling against what I was doing. Because in my childhood, I was the one massaging everyone. I massaged the whole volleyball team of my dad. Every time they had training, I was massaging, I was connecting with people through body work. But I left that because I wanted to earn money. The fastest way is to become an office clerk, and then you're just going. And then when I had my burnout, I came back and I said, okay, so I want to change, but I want to work with people. And I went into the education of becoming a change manager and organizational change, because that was just what you did. And happily, very happily, within this master's course, there was one certificate that I could choose, and I chose coaching practitioner. And I remember the first session I ever sat in that school. We were all in a circle, about 28 people, no desks in front of us. It took like 5 minutes, and my body told me, that's where you belong. That's where you're gonna have the impact you were looking for. And that moment is what I want to give women in the world, because I only coach women. I say that very exclusively. I don't coach men. Funny enough, since I did say that I only coach women, a lot of men are approaching me. I'm like, no, I only coach women. And I have the company, well, I have also 2 companies. I have the Giant Gentle Lioness Academy, which I have with a business partner. And I have my own company, my name, because I'm a single entrepreneur. And in Switzerland, your name has to be in your company's name. So that's simple. And what I say actually to my clients is, my roar, because that's what I want to find in you, is to accompany women to their primal power, back to their being. I specialize in breaking up the paradigms, today's and also 6,000 years of the patriarchy that have put on us. So that has pushed us down, that are still pushing us down, and that are also still dividing us women from another. Because that is what the patriarchy realized very fast. If women come together and create something, they are unstoppable. No man group can stop a female group, because they are unstoppable. They are the most powerful there is in the world. That's my belief. As you can see, I'm very passionate about it. I'm also very passionate about all equality and inclusion topics that there are. That's also why I run some communities in this topic too, because I think there is nothing so tragic, and I heard that today too, or worse than imbalance within ourselves. If we are not aligned within ourselves towards to who we want to be, towards what we want to reach, and our emotions connected with it, we're lost in life. And that's also why I put this picture up today, because that picture is called Home, and it has a poem in the back written by myself about what I feel is home. And for me, home is all around the world, because home is within me and not outside there. So if you want to reach out, you have my dossier, as I want to say. And I'm happy to be here, and very happy that Marilena has this wonderful group of women globally all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Celia. And also thank you for sharing some insights about your past, your experience, and your fragility also, which makes you even stronger and roar louder. And but very particularly beautiful for me is the key messages that I take away is listen to your body, and home is within me. Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, we are gone through the coaches that are here present today. Unfortunately, Lourdes, as I mentioned earlier, she is in at the airport traveling and wasn't able to connect. But also for her, you have the form and her short biography. Lourdes Perez, she facilitated 2 workshops for us already, so some of you may know her. And she's Spanish and has a lot of background also in terms of yoga and other types of experiences that you can read on her form and biography. Now, I would like to open up the floor if you have any questions, or if you would like to share any aha moments that came to you while listening to our coaches, or if you have any curiosities, any doubts, or anything you would like to add. And thank you very much, Nuha, for raising your hand. Actually, I would like to introduce Nuha Shakir. Nuha is going to run this program with me. Thank you for volunteering, Nuha. And she will be organizing the sessions with our coaches going forward. So over to you, Nuha.
Thank you, Marilena, and thank you all the coaches for the wonderful introduction, which is like every time I listen to every one of you, it kind of ring a bell in my head. And this is what I wanted to share. Is like when Tony said, one of the points is how to get there, right? I had a great goal and a dream, right? And I put a lot of effort in it, like endlessly. I did not give up on my dream, but I think it actually took me 16 years to achieve that dream. And I really do have a great belief that if I had a few years back a coach to guide me and give me some support in figuring out what should I do differently, at least, right? I would have knew how to get to my dream faster. So I'm just sharing this because I think every one of us at a certain point of our life will need to have a coach, whether at a personal level or at a professional level. And hopefully, I mean, it's a new dream that hopefully one day, being also an HR, that I will be a coach to help others to achieve their dreams. Over to you, Marilena.
Thank you, Nuha, and thank you for showing that you're already being inspired, which is great and very encouraging. And we're looking forward to have you also as a coach soon in our pool of coaches once you've gone through training.
Hopefully.
Okay, anyone who would like to share some insights, or perhaps you've had coaching experience as a coachee and you would like to share that? No, everyone is just reflecting or very tired. Okay, then I think, okay, Alessandra, please.
Hi there, everyone, and thank you very much for the presentation. I actually wanted to share my only experience as a coachee it was with Win, with Fiona. I think I had some conversations with her, and I mean, it was just a couple of times, but it really enlightened the path that I wanted to pursue. It was in a very fragile period of my life, and we only had I remember 2 or 3 conversations, and she really structured my way forward towards the goal that I wanted to achieve. So I really encourage everyone to take, as Nuha said, you know, we should all get at least 1 or 2 conversations with a coach in our lives, because it really helps us getting on track, and even, you know, we might have it inside, but it's useful for us to let our dreams come out, because they're silent. So it's sort of implicit that, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to strive for that, but until we speak them out, until we share them with somebody, it's like, you know, before an exam, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you repeat whatever you need to say, it's you say it out loud, so you hear it yourself, and saying it in front of another person that can guide you, that can you know, steer your direction, it's much more helpful. So it was a very positive experience, and I really encourage everyone to benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alessandra, for sharing your experience. And indeed, here we are offering the opportunity to have that conversation that may unblock you or just help you in a difficult moment, no? And understand where it is that you would like to go and how to get there. Chitra, our founder of the Women's Informal Network, for those who don't know her, Chitra was the one who started all this up back in 2016 in IFAD. Over to you, Chitra.
Thanks, Marilena, and thank you for organizing and taking this forward. I think it's the next step to the mentoring program. It's so great. I just wanted to, just share a bit, and I think in terms of coaching, we've had some great experience. And Kate, as you mentioned, did our group coaching. We experimented with group coaching, and it was very successful in the sense that, you know, we came, you know, a book was actually published, a joint book, and so I just wanted to. I think there are so many, and I really appreciate all the different coaches and your different styles. In fact. And it's interesting. I'll just wanted to share on the group coaching. I remember one of the exercises Kate had us do was to dance, and I think a lot of us were like, I don't want to dance, and you made us dance. And I remember that was really good. You know, really, and it's sort of it's a nice technique I now use just to, you know, getting yourself out of being stuck, you know, and moving, and so I really appreciate the different styles, and I just wanted to share with those who want a coach and are interested, as was presented by Silvia, it's hard work, and it's you working. And what does that mean? I think in my experience, one is asking yourself, what do you really want? I think a lot of people say, oh, I want a coach to solve all the whatever problems I have, but it really is this moment for you to pinpoint what you want to work on. And sometimes I think the coach can help you, I guess, identify that, because you may think it's one thing, but it might be another. But sometimes it's even the hard part of identifying, maybe even admitting it to yourself. But in any case, I just encourage you all to think really hard about what it is that you'd like to get out of your coaching, because again, you'll be the one doing the work. And then I think we have a really nice variety of coaches, and thinking who might best help you, guide you on that journey and asking you the right questions or in their method. So really look, good luck on that journey to all of you. And thank you, all the coaches, for joining us.
Thank you, Chitra. And indeed, yes, we all have to be in the driving seat, right? It's about our own life. So we cannot pretend or think that someone else will be driving our life. And so thank you for that message. Daniela, another coordinator of the Women's Informal Network of the New York chapter, actually, and another Blue Ink sister of the You Matter book. Daniela, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, Marilena, for making this happen. And I was in a very attentive listening mode, and I really appreciated this. It's almost like if I was put on a spot to pick a coach today, that would have been the most difficult task of the day. And I think that's a good thing, right? But also to just as a reflection, I think this in and of itself was like a group coaching in a way, because that vulnerability that first of all of you coaches have entered with is very inspiring. And I think sometimes a lot of us, at least from the development world, we're attracted to this sector because we are, we want to change the world, we want to make it better. And I'm always inspired by Rumi. He says, yesterday I was smart, I wanted to change the world, and today I'm wise and I want to change myself. And I think this is, for me, what this is about. And I've been in coachee relationship all my life, even though I didn't necessarily know it at the time, right? As an athlete, my coaches were all about my body, until many years later, I realized it was actually all about my mind and my psychology and my belief on certain things. And same thing now, when I became a professional, a lot of this was about leadership or about, all these skills that you need, but actually more and more they were about the soul, not necessarily about the mind. So the only thing that I learned from all of this is to just be open. So even if you go for like a leadership coaching session and they're telling you, like Celia, to move or to dance or to, make spaghetti stuck in a marshmallow, as I used to have to do one day, be open to that, because it may actually get you to where you need to go. And similarly, if you're doing something physical or art and they're asking you to reflect on your childhood, go with the flow. I think that's what I learned from the coaches that I've been working with, just don't kind of limit yourself before you even started. And the other bit that I would share with everybody, and I'm reminding this to myself, it's okay not to know. It's okay I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I'm not even sure at this point that I do want to grow up to begin with. But I do believe that what we are seeking is also seeking us. And sometimes on the route to becoming you might actually discover that you are 7 or a flower, and I think that's fine. I think in this world of diversity, and I'm really encouraged to see more coaches now who are bringing themselves into this equation, not just the modules and the formulas and the science behind, which is of course important. But if you are, as many of you said, show us who you are. I think that actually I find extremely inspiring and uplifting, and vulnerability is a strength. We just have one amazing woman president who stepped down, and in her way down, she's actually risen 20 steps up, and through her vulnerability. And to me, this is somebody who works in HR and mental health and empowerment of our true essence. I seek inspiration in these things rather than here's 20 times that so-and-so's done something and it worked for them and you cannot relate to it. It's okay to also favor certain things that may not be conventional. And thank you, Marilena. I think this is a great way of just bringing great people together. And I'm excited to see what's going to come out of it, which already is, because it's a community. And everything out of community in my book is very, very good and helpful. So thank you all. And Marilena, great job facilitating as usual, but I have to say it.
Thank you, Daniela. And by the way, for those who are not aware, Daniela is not only a co-author of our You Matter book, but she also released 2 volumes of Sauti, a collection of poems of colleagues from the UN. Beautiful collection that perhaps, Daniela, you can share the link in our chat for people to access it, and something beautiful just to reflect on what you said. Go with the flow, do not limit yourself. And I think Daniela really embodies that. She does not limit herself. She goes beyond. So thank you for being such a good example, Daniela. And now I realize it is 3 minutes to 7. So for those who would like to stay on, I would suggest we go until 7:15 if you can, because I have created the groups for the breakout groups. And so feel free to leave the call if you need to leave the call because you had made plans for past 7 o'clock. I would like to thank you very much for having joined our session, our kickoff session of the coaching program. And I believe this is a continuation, but also sort of new beginning of a new chapter of our Women's Informal Network that is expanding. It's expanding in numbers, it's expanding in the programs we're offering. And so I believe that this will also contribute to making a big change in our members' lives. So if you have to leave, I would kindly ask you to leave now, perhaps. Then it's easier for me to create the groups and not have 7 people in one group and 3 in another because people are leaving afterwards. And but before you're leaving, please, Shanta, I think you wanted to add something before we go into the breakout groups, and then maybe we can have a very quick wrap up at the end at 7:15. Shanta, over to you.
Well, I think everybody will find out more when we have our session on the 23rd of February. But I really look forward to seeing everyone. It'll be an interactive session, and mark it in the calendar. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, great. Okay, so thank you very much for everyone who has to leave. And now I will open. We will have the coaches. We will have one coach per group on their own.
That's okay. We can all kind of say hi.
We can be in this group, I guess. It's going to be one group. It's going to be the plenary.
Everyone gone.
Oh, everyone is gone.
No, we have a
No.
few. We have Sonia. We have
Yes.
Lily.
We have Lily. Oh, Lily is my dear colleague in my team. I love her. She has also been featured in Daniela's poetry book. So, you know, it's all, we're all connected in one way or another. And yes, Annie and Kayo, also a dear colleague. Okay, so shall we go for maybe 2 groups or 3 groups? Yes? Okay, then I will recreate instead of 6. I'll
For
have
each of the non-coaches, you're going to have like 3 coaches each. It's going to be
yes, an amazing session.
a moment never to be repeated.
That's true. Absolutely true. Okay, so we'll have oh, actually we could even create more. Let's create 4. Create 4 randomly assigned. I'll just do it like that very quickly. Okay, and off we go. You can discuss anything you like, by the way. You can talk about coaching, you can ask a specific question, or just sharing your experiences.
Oh, but are we back to the break brooms? Right?
Only three of us.
I don't know, maybe we returned, but the rest did not come back. Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
we were the first.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are back from our groups. I hope it was useful and pleasant. I heard very interesting things. I was originally planning to jump from one group to the next, and then I got hooked up in the conversation in the group I was in. And but there was a very interesting testimony from Lily about the value for money and the return on investment, because people don't really understand about why should I be paying a lot of money for the coach. So maybe Lily, would you like to share your experience and your thoughts on this?
Yes, I mean, the first time that I reached out to a coach is actually through a friend. And now she's actually a person that comes to FAO to do a lot of training. Her name is Diana Waikiki Chang. And when I first spoke to her, she was so surprised that coaching wasn't really something done at the UN. And funny enough, when I had approached HR a few years ago about coaching, they said, no, you need to be a P5 or above. And I'm only a P4. And then I found out that P4 colleague of mine was having coaching. And I'm like, well, I said, this contradicts what you told me. No, we have to offer this person coaching because he doesn't know how to deal with his staff, and he has some, issues in supervising. Then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because maybe you need to maximize, the people who are really inspiring and are making a difference in their teams. But anyways, I did go privately. And now, obviously, the coach that I used from a couple of years ago, she's more expensive because over time, as they become more famous and better, they obviously raise their fees. But the few sessions that I had with her were 3. It gave me clarity on what really were my accomplishments, what I really could bring out and say what I am good at, because I wasn't even sure, and really how to sell myself and be more confident. Especially if I had to interview. I wasn't interviewing, but she said, if you were to be called to interview tomorrow, you would fail. You would not get the job. And she was very frank about it. So we worked a lot about how for me to portray that confidence, but also to really come out with really concrete examples that show the outcomes of what I've done, because we tend to undersell ourselves. So I think it's definitely worth the return on investment, because it really, most of all, gave me clarity, and it boosts your confidence every time you talk to the person. So definitely encourage it.
Thank you, Lily, for sharing your experience. I think this is a very important aspect, of course, when we're talking about budget and the offerings. And so our coaches have filled out the forms that we shared with the calendar invitation, and they are, of course, also available on our Slack. And people can write to Nuha or to me, and we will be happy to share the forms where everything is spelled out in terms of what the coaches are offering and the contact details, so that people can contact our coaches directly. And with this, I would like to thank you so much for participating today in this kickoff event. I think it was wonderful. I'm already looking forward to our first session of the group coaching with Shanta on 23rd February, and then being followed by another coach. And so stay tuned. And Nuha, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Yeah, I just would like to actually thank you first for this initiative and for making me a part of this work, which will, I'm sure, with time, it would help me also grow into something that I would want to be. And I would like to thank the coaches for all the introductions and for inspiring me, at least, to try to be a coach. And thanks for everyone who attended, because you will definitely, you would have at least learned something, or hopefully you will find your way and find your suitable coach, and who will help you hopefully grow. And have a lovely evening, and see you on the 23rd.
Thank you, Nuha, for being part of this
you.
management
Thank you.
team, and thank you all coaches for your wonderful presentations.
Thanks,
And I hope to see you
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you.